I am the straightest white man on the face of this planet, but my God, Daniel Craig, you can rock that long hair. Keep doing it, man. Why didn't we get a James Bond movie with you rocking that long hair? Would have been awesome. And I love how this movie is just a complete James Bond reunion. I mean, James Bond, Felix Leiter, and C from Spectre couldn't go any better. Wake Up Dead Man is going to be out on Netflix on December 12th. It is out now in select theaters. I got to see it in my city. It is playing at my local Alamo Draft House. This once again stars Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc, and you have an entire ensemble cast around him, including Josh O'Connor, Josh Brolin, Mila Kunis, Kaylee Spaney, Kerry Washington, Jeremy Renner, Andrew Scott, Glenn Close, Thomas Hayden Church, amongst a whole bunch of other people. That's probably everybody, right? It's gotta be. When young priest Judd is sent to assist charismatic firebrand Monsignor Jefferson Wicks, it's clear that all is not well in the pews. After a sudden and seemingly impossible murder rocks the town, the lack of an obvious suspect prompts local police chief Geraldine Scott to join forces with renowned detective Benoit Blanc to unravel a mystery that defies all logic. I love Knives Out, I love Glass Onion, and I love Wake Up Dead Man. These are consistently great, on par with each other, murder mysteries. I wish that my filming locations for this series of movies was as consistent as the movies themselves. But no, the Wake Up Dead Man is definitely another great one from Rian Johnson and another great whodunit starring the character of Benoit Blanc, played magnificently once again by Daniel Craig. And Benoit Blanc this time, I love how each movie explores a different side of Benoit Blanc. This one explores more of his views on faith and Christianity and religion. Certain things like that feel more than just surface level. And that's a big thing with this movie, is that the themes for this movie, the themes of about lack of faith, crisis of faith, your actual faith itself, like what you actually believe in, touched upon to a T in this movie, especially when it comes around to Benoit Blanc. I think they do a really good job at hammering home that, yeah, maybe some people just don't believe in certain things, and you gotta leave it at that. But what these movies also strive at, too, is creating an ensemble cast around Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc, as an ensemble of characters that you follow one who may be morally ambiguous, but you know deep down wants to do the right thing, and that is Josh O'Connor in this movie, and then surrounded by a bunch of other characters who are a bunch of fucking assholes. And Rian Johnson just completely, in the funniest ways, just rattles on them. And while this one does touch on darker themes and a bit more morally conscious themes and get you thinking in a little bit more of a kind of religious subtext, sure, there's a lot more dark humor in this, and it feels a bit more disturbing than the previous Knives Out movies, but it's also probably the funniest. Now, I will say this, if you were not a fan of Glass Onion, but you loved Knives Out, I think this will reel it back in for you a little bit. This does have the vibes of the original Knives Out. One of my complaints with Glass Onion is that it takes about half of the movie to actually get to the actual mystery. Here, yes, this movie is about 5 minutes longer than Glass Onion, but I think it uses its time building up to the actual murder in a more precise and tight type of way, where it won't feel like the pacing is all over the place, because that is probably my one issue with Glass Onion. Here, I didn't feel like this was 2.5 hours, to be honest with you. I was thoroughly invested in the investigation, in the murder itself, in the twists and turns that Rian Johnson is presenting to you, all of the misdirection. He uses a lot of cool zoom ins to zoom in on characters. He'll zoom in on Benoit Blanc in one scene to throw you off while he's talking to a potential suspect, and he'll also zoom in on that potential suspect. So it really gets your juices flowing and trying to guess who it is. Although I will say, once the cast was announced, I was like, okay, let me go through this. It's that person. And if they're not working alone, it's that person. That's the accomplice. It's those two people. Lo and behold, That is exactly what happened. I could predict who the killers were from the moment everybody was announced. But I just love the cavalcade of twists and turns and the clues that Johnson sets up in these movies. And Daniel Craig just doing this hokey Southern accent that he does in all these movies as Benoit Blanc, and what Benoit Blanc actually has to face in these movies, how it feels like each one he's facing something different. And he's always put in these different situations that are very difficult situations, but in your head, you know he has the whole thing figured out, which is awesome. I love watching Benoit Blanc tick like that. Once again, this is another masterful murder mystery in this series. They can keep making these forever, man. Just do one with the Muppets. Benoit Blanc taking on the Muppets. Who killed Kermit the Frog? Be amazing. It'd be great. If I have one problem with the movie, it's not even that the first half is slow, and it's not even that the murder, I think, takes place too late into the movie. I just think that first half, there's not enough Benoit Blanc. And I've seen a lot of people, I think, kind of, I don't know what the right phrase for this is, but I think kind of maybe take that fault for the first half and say that it kind of carries over into the rest of the movie. So when people were saying that there wasn't enough of Benoit Blanc in the movie, I was literally expecting Benoit Blanc to only be in this movie for maybe like a chunk, but he's in a good chunk of the movie, and that kind of surprised me. But at the same time, the first half could have used a bit more Benoit Blanc, because I think once Benoit Blanc shows up on the scene, the movie really takes off and it becomes a really, really fun murder mystery movie. I like this more than Glass Onion. I don't think I like it more than Knives Out, but it has those vibes. And I love the setting too. A church, like this isolated church in a strictly what feels like one location. That's the thing of these movies. For a good runtime of all three of these movies, it's one location. And they always use the one location setting as their playground to their advantage. This one does it again, and it's awesome. And I loved all the twists and turns. Just needed a bit more Benoit Blanc in the first half. I really enjoyed Wake Up, Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery with a full bucket of popcorn. It's really funny because as of right now, this movie is in my top 10 of the year, and it's in the same exact spot that Glass Onion was, which was in the same exact spot that Knives Out was. So that should just tell you how consistently entertaining and good these movies are. So if you have seen Wake Up Dead Man before it is out on Netflix, let me know what you think of it in the comments below. I'll leave my link to my website in the description below as well. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I will see you at the movies somewhere.